Last week, a video spread across social media. A world leader, eyes steady, announcing nuclear war. The world watched. Panic rippled, but the speech never happened. It was a deepfake, fabricated, lawless, and viral within hours. This is not science fiction. In 2024, FinCEN warned that deepfakes are fueling a wave of financial crimes. Victims are waking up to find their faces used in synthetic pornography, their reputations erased overnight. We've entered an era where reality is manufactured, and the cost is measured in ruined lives, stolen fortunes, and broken trust. The question is no longer whether you can trust what you see, it's whether you can even tell what's real. Now, the architect behind these synthetic realities is not a person, but a network. Your screen shows a politician at a press conference. The lips move in perfect sync. The facial expressions flicker with emotion. The voice carries conviction, but none of it happened. Generative adversarial networks, GANs, assemble these illusions pixel by pixel. Two AI systems locked in a contrast. One forges, the other hunts for flaws. Each round, the fakes become more convincing. Alongside GAN's variational autoencoders, VAEs, encode and decode the intricate details of facial features, enabling seamless face swaps. MIT's research confirms VAEs are now core to deepfake technology, mapping and reconstructing expressions with uncanny precision. The code that powers these forgeries escaped the confines of classified labs years ago. Open-source deepfake tools, trained on tens of thousands of faces, are just a download away. A teenager can access the same models once reserved for intelligence agencies. These algorithms don't just improve, they adapt. Each time a fake fools a viewer, the system notes what worked, sharpening its next attempt. Detection is a race already being lost. Forensic analysts scrutinize eyelid movements, searching for blinks that don't fit human biology. They track the way light reflects in pupils, measure microexpressions that last less than a heartbeat. But every advance in detection feeds the next generation of fakes. The arms race is relentless. Each forensic breakthrough is absorbed, erased, and replaced by even more flawless counterfeits. Training data shapes what artificial intelligence decides is real. Researchers pour hours of footage into algorithms, cataloging skin textures, memorizing subtle head tilts and eyebrow raises. Yet these same datasets breed identical blind spots in all detectors. MIT Media Lab found that when detectors are trained on similar face datasets, they miss the same inconsistencies and abnormal blinking patterns. The result? A shared vulnerability, exploited again and again. Technical limits are vanishing. As 5G networks and cloud computing expand, real-time deepfake swaps are no longer theoretical. Europol warns that live video calls once trusted are now targets for synthetic impersonation. In controlled settings, synthetic videos already pass professional verification. The last visible flaws are fading as processing power grows. The first weaponized deepfake struck in 2017. Since then, the technology has slipped from experiment to everyday tool. Financial criminals moved quickly. Politicians became targets. In every case, the deception looked ordinary, exploiting the basic trust in what appears on screen. The next evolution isn't just about what you see, it's about what you think you're talking to. Inside the boardroom, the video call played out with chilling precision. The chief financial officer appeared on screen, voice steady, face tense. Every gesture, every inflection matched the real executive's mannerisms. The request was urgent, a transfer bypassing standard checks, citing internal policies and naming familiar staff. Over $25 million vanished from the company's account. The real CFO was never there. In early 2024, this was the abrupt heist, a deepfake operation so convincing it defeated every layer of human and digital security. This wasn't the first time. Back in 2019, a UK energy firm CEO was cloned by voice AI. The scammer, using only audio, convinced a subordinate to wire €220,000, about $243,000, by mimicking the boss's accent and cadence. The technology has only grown sharper since then. Today's fraudsters scrape hours of LinkedIn videos, webinars, and press appearances. They feed the AI everything: vocal quirks, stress patterns, facial microexpressions. MIT Media Lab's Grow notes that these models learn best from hours of footage, not seconds. The result is a synthetic persona that survives every test. Voice authentication, facial recognition, even the subtle cues of live conversation. Banks built multi-factor authentication to stop hackers. Deepfake attacks walk right through. The system expects real human behavior, not AI that's trained on thousands of real faces and voices. Voice ID fails when algorithms copy pitch, pauses, and emotional tone. Facial recognition can spot the differences after the AI studies every angle, every blink. The assumption that only humans can act human is now obsolete. The economics are brutal. Open source deepfake tools cost nothing. Cloud computing power is cheap, under $20 an hour to train new models. Each successful scam teaches criminals what works. They swap methods on dark web forums, refining their scripts and timing. Financial institutions spend millions defending against attacks, but the tools evolve faster than any security protocol. Deloitte projects synthetic media fraud will cost the US over $40 billion by 2027, and the current trajectory suggests that's just the beginning. The real weapon isn't the code, it's the manipulation of trust. Research shows that emotional tone, stress, urgency, vulnerability can override even the strictest protocols. The Arup staff didn't just see a familiar face. They heard distress, sensed pressure, and responded like any human would. The AI didn't just mimic identity, it triggered empathy and urgency, short-circuiting skepticism in the heat of crisis. This is the new fraud factory, a system that exploits the very instincts meant to keep us safe. It doesn't just empty accounts, it hijacks trust, weaponizes empathy, and leaves victims questioning what, if anything, can be believed. And as the line between real and synthetic blurs, the next target isn't money, it's something even more personal. The notification arrives at 3 a.m. A friend sends a link to a porn site. The face is unmistakably yours. But you never filmed this, never consented. Your social media photos twisted into something you never imagined. The video spreads across forums in 3 countries before you even wake up. According to Deep Trace's 2019 report, 96% of deepfake videos online are non-consensual pornography featuring women. The technology surfaced in late 2017 on Reddit, where users swapped celebrity faces into explicit content. Now, anyone with basic editing skills can create these videos in minutes. No coding required. Just drag and drop. Victims discover their altered images when employers see them, when relatives get sent links, when blackmail arrives. The trauma lands fast and hard. Lauren, a college student featured in the documentary Another Body, experienced her first panic attack after finding a deepfake of herself. The film, which premiered at SXSW and won the Special Jury Award for Innovation in Storytelling, documents the psychological fallout. Friends believe the video was real. Studies show victims endure trauma on par with real sexual assault. The violation never disappears. It resurfaces, tagged and reposted, traveling further each time. Most legal systems lag behind, treating these cases as copyright disputes instead of sexual violence. Only a few states, Virginia, California, Texas, have specific deepfake pornography laws. The Federal Deepfake Accountability Act stalled in Congress, leaving a patchwork of protections and loopholes. Victims face a legal maze. Prosecutors argue over intellectual property instead of bodily autonomy. Platforms demand court orders before removing content. By the time one copy disappears, 10 more take its place. The cost, years lost, thousands spent, dignity shredded, rarely matches consequences for perpetrators. In the UK, the Buckinghamshire case saw a cheerleading mother receive community service for creating dozens of deepfakes of classmates. The girl transferred schools. She kept her college admission. The gap between harm and punishment is wide and growing. Nina Yankowicz, a US disinformation expert, warns that Russia now weaponizes deepfake porn against female politicians and activists. The goal? Destabilize democracies by silencing women in public life. Intelligence analysts confirm state-linked groups manufacture these attacks. One synthetic video can derail a campaign, end a career, or discredit a whistleblower in a single night. Face-swapping apps market themselves as harmless fun. On the dark web, deepfake services list prices like a menu: $50 for a basic clip, $200 for custom humiliation, $500 for celebrity-grade renders. Buyers request ex-girlfriends, co-workers, strangers with high-res social media photos. The creators joke about trolling while building databases for future targets. Law enforcement loses ground. Jurisdiction splits across borders. Even when caught, sentences rarely match the damage. The tools improve. The targets multiply. Legal protections lag years behind. The playbook is tested here, refined in real time. The next phase leaves the private sphere behind. The target shifts from the individual to the collective. The attack moves from humiliation to influence. A phone rings in New Hampshire. The voice is unmistakably Joe Biden, telling Democrats not to vote in the primary. Thousands receive the call before anyone realizes it's fake. The tool behind it? A $1 deepfake generator, rented online for a few hours. Lingo Telecom, the provider that distributed the calls, is fined $1 million. The votes it suppressed are gone. The damage is irreversible. Political sabotage has evolved. What started as crude photoshops is now AI-generated disinformation, tested first in smaller smaller democracies. Taiwan's elections saw fake confessions from politicians. Ghana's news anchors reported events that never happened. Each campaign grows sharper, more convincing, before targeting bigger stages. Authoritarian regimes refine these tactics in the shadows. Their next attack is always better. Cognitive science explains the trap. We process video 60,000 times faster than text. Faces and voices bypass skepticism. Deepfakes spread in 14 minutes. It takes fact-checkers 14 hours to debunk them. By then, the lie is already embedded in public memory. The brain clings to what it sees, even after the truth emerges. The Federal Election Commission says it can't regulate AI-generated ads. Synthetic media falls under free speech, not electoral interference. Campaigns run experiments. AI-generated opponents spouting fabricated quotes. Fake celebrity endorsements. Super PACs deploy these tactics without oversight. The FEC's inaction turns the election into a sandbox for synthetic manipulation. Trust corrodes. MIT researchers show exposure to deepfakes makes people doubt even authentic footage. The effect lingers for months. Elections depend on shared facts. Deepfakes erase that foundation, leaving voters adrift. Some believe everything, some believe nothing. Destabilization wins both ways. Graphica and DeepTrace document Chinese and Russian persona accounts using GAN-generated profile images. Foreign actors stockpile hours of video. Different angles, lighting, emotions, training AI to generate any statement, anytime. The dataset becomes a weapon, more valuable than classified intelligence. Lingo Telecom's fine is a warning, not a deterrent. The next deepfake won't use phone lines. It will appear from a verified account, a leaked video, a viral post. Platforms have no real-time system to flag synthetic content. Deleted fakes still seed doubt. Social media algorithms amplify the chaos, rewarding engagement, not accuracy. The most viral content is often the most dangerous. Military analysts and Europol warn of reality apathy, the endgame where distinguishing truth from fiction becomes impossible. MIT Technology Reviews calls it the information apocalypse. When nothing is trusted, democracy falters. The 2024 elections are a live test of how far this can go. Detection methods exist, but every new defense becomes a lesson for the next attack. The cycle is accelerating. The gap between deception and debunking grows wider. The next section exposes why every detection breakthrough only sharpens the threat. Detection systems scan for subtle flaws. Pupil dilation, skin tone shifts, micromovements. The AI behind the deepfake takes notes. Next iteration, the pupils react naturally. The flaws disappear. The deep rhythm CNN-based detector once claimed 98% accuracy on images. Then a new GAN architecture bypassed it entirely. This is the detection war. Every breakthrough is reverse engineered and folded into the next attack. Big tech deploys countermeasures. Microsoft's video authenticator scores the likelihood of manipulation, analyzing each frame for digital fingerprints. Google's face forensics dataset trains detectors on thousands of deepfake samples. Meta's reverse engineering tool traces the origin of synthetic images. Each tool wins a round, then loses the next. Deepfake creators scramble fingerprints, adapt to new detection cues, and update their models in weeks, not years. Legal frameworks scramble to keep up. The upcoming EU AI Act will require deepfake content to be watermarked and labeled under its high-risk provisions. But watermarking fails when custom models learn to erase or obscure these marks. Blockchain verification promises traceability, but attackers exploit vulnerabilities in metadata handling. Every new rule is a temporary obstacle, not a permanent barrier. Compression algorithms designed to shrink file sizes erase the very imperfections detection tools rely on. A high-resolution fake might show artifacts around the hairline. After social media compression, those traces vanish. The platforms themselves become unwitting accomplices, smoothing over the evidence. Databases become targets. Researchers found that positioning just 1% of a training dataset with specific identifiers can cause misclassification. Fake images labeled as real. The more detectors specialize on known datasets, the more they risk being blindsided by adversarial attacks crafted to exploit these blind spots. Live verification offers a brief advantage. Banks demand random actions. Turn your head. Say a phrase backwards, touch your ear, but deepfake systems now render upper body movements in real time. The gap between command and execution shrinks with each software update. Military analysts warn against detection complacency. Filters can catch yesterday's forgeries, not today's. The most dangerous deepfake is the one that passes through undetected. The illusion becomes perfect. Only context, statistical improbability, out-of-character statements remain to signal something is wrong. But context doesn't halt virality. Improbability doesn't stop belief. Security teams pivot. Detection is no longer the endgame. Rapid response, incident protocols, and real-time debunking become the new frontline. The war is not about stopping every fake. It's about minimizing the fallout when truth is erased in plain sight. The invisible contagion is already here. Trust erodes, not in a single event, but through thousands of subtle infections, each one blurring the line between fact and fabrication. We are at a point where evidence can be manufactured, where your memory of reality can be rewritten by anyone with the right tool and motive. This isn't about chasing the next viral fake. It's about who shapes the record, who decides what is remembered, what is erased. The real threat isn't the technology. It's the way it exploits human trust, cognitive blind spots, and institutional inertia. Start verifying. Question the source, the context, the intent. The technology will only get stronger. The lies will only get smarter. Have you encountered suspicious media? Drop your story or your best spotting tip in the comments. There is one advantage. Research shows that exposure and education improve resistance. The more you learn, the harder you are to fool. The battle for reality is ongoing, but it's one you can fight.